The Alchemist of Emberlane. There was a crooked hill in a crooked town where the mist never lifted. People called the place Emberlane, though it hadn't glowed in decades. Nestled in the highest cliffside was a forgotten foundry. Its pipes twisted like brass ivy, and its smokestacks hadn't puffed since the last war. Locals claimed it was haunted. Children dared each other to run up its iron gates and touch the green-tinged lock before running back down, breathless and half-terrified. No one remembered who owned it or why it ever shut down. That is, until Gerard arrived. He came with no papers, no family, no fanfare, just a velvet coat that shimmered purple under rainlight, a leather satchel filled with blueprints, and a half-walk, half-dance that made the cobbled streets feel like part of a tune only he could hear. He bought the foundry with cash. The banker didn't ask how much. Within days, the smokestacks churned again. At first, faint puffs of steam, then a full orchestra of gears, whistles, and bells. But it wasn't coal they smelled. It was sugar. Marshmallow fog, honeyed smoke, a scent like roasted pecans and citrus taffy, and something else entirely, something impossible. The kind of smell that unlocked childhood. Children pressed their faces to the fences. Their noses twitched. The fog seemed to giggle. Gerard never opened the gates. Every week, a new wonder leaked into town. An orange candle that floated when lit. A caramel that played music if you chewed it in 3-4 times. A mirror that reflected you as a younger, happier version of yourself, but only if you were telling the truth. He never asked for payment. He simply left them on doorsteps or dropped them in wells. People began to whisper, "He's not an inventor. He's an alchemist. He's building something in there." But no one dared knock on the factory doors until the children began to disappear. Not all at once. First it was Elric, the glassblower's son, who vanished during a foggy morning. Then Vanna, the mayor's daughter, who had been collecting lemon blossoms by the fence. Then a set of twins who claimed they heard music coming from beneath the sewer gates the night before. Search parties turned up nothing, only letters folded into crisp squares, sealed with golden wax. No return address, just a looping G at the top, and this message: "They are not gone, they are becoming. Do not fear the furnace that sweetens the world." The townspeople gathered at the gates. They screamed, they begged, they cursed his name. Gerard never appeared. Only the scent remained, brighter, richer now, like baked stars and candied thunderclouds. Then, one evening, a boy named Theo crept into the factory. He didn't mean to, not really. He was chasing a paper bird that had fluttered from a drain pipe. It smelled like cinnamon. When it dove between the bars of the gate, the lock clicked open. Inside was not a factory. It was a world. Chocolate rivers that glowed under lanterns shaped like dragonflies. Lollipop trees with hollow centers full of sherbet mist. Bridges made of honeycomb. Entire floors of spinning peppermint gears. Powering clouds that rained bubblegum. Machines whirred with brass arms and silver tongues. There were pulleys and levers that operated on rhyme instead of logic. And standing at the center of it all, atop a staircase made of wafer-thin glass, was Gerard. He turned, and Theo saw his eyes. They didn't just shine, they twinkled. "You came at the right time," Gerard said softly. "I was beginning to think no one would be curious enough to open the gate." "Where are the children?" Theo asked. Gerard smiled sadly. "They are here, everywhere. They chose to stay. Theo didn't understand, but the sound of distant laughter echoed through the pipes. Years passed. The factory fell silent again. The gates rusted shut, but every now and then the scent returned, just a whiff on the wind. Strangers would pass through town asking about the inventor who wore velvet and danced like a clock. Locals just shook their heads. Only the old ones remembered the truth, or part of it. They said the man had vanished, that he'd left behind one key, that somewhere beyond that gate, beneath the candy-colored sky, he waited for the next child with a question instead of a complaint. In a hidden chamber sealed by chocolate gears and dreams, a portrait hangs on the wall. It shows a man in a tall velvet hat, smiling through sugared spectacles, holding a cane made from peppermint wood. Beneath the portrait is a plaque, Gerard W., founder, dreamer, keeper of the impossible. But the engraving is worn, and when the light hits it just right, you can almost see a different name beneath it. Wonka.